Why am I seeing this adorable red panda? Because a massive corporation gave Firefox more money than any of the animators ever made to show it to me in my browser. Hey guys, number one Marmaduke fan here. I just watched Turning Red, and I want to review it, but I kind of want to do two different kinds of reviews. I want to do one of my stream of consciousness reviews, but then I also want to do a careful scene by scene review. So I'm going to put a timestamp in the description. If you don't want to hear the rambling thoughts, just go skip to the careful essay part of the video. But some people like hearing my, rough, uncut, unscripted thoughts. So the elephant in the room, the giant red panda in the room, is that this movie has become a little culture war. All the animation nerds on Twitter.com are yelling at each other over Turning Red. So that was, truth be told, that's the reason I was interested to watch this movie. Is I've noticed the pattern of people having culture war moments over cartoons. I remember Ghostbusters 2016. I remember Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. I remember Thundercats Roar. And when Thundercats Roar came out, I did a cold take review of it where I didn't watch Thundercats as a kid, so I didn't have a nostalgic connection to it. And people really liked that. So I'm going to do one of my cold take deep dives into Turning Red. So why was there this culture war about this movie? Well, on the one side, maybe you don't like this movie because you're a cis hetero white male, you're a racist, and you need to learn to empathize. It's every stupid thing you can imagine being said on Twitter. So maybe thing one would be the visual style of the movie. They kind of have that beanie mouth look. I think more recent, I haven't kept up with recent Pixar movies. I think Pixar's in decline, but more recent Pixar movies have been moving towards this cartoonier look. And this gets on some people's nerves. Is it wrong to have cartoony bean mouth looking people? Well, when I did my Thundercats Roar review, my argument was if you are doing a silly cartoon with silly people, then the bean mouth look works because that art style fits with the tone. It's all silly and fun. You draw them in a cute little bean mouth, rubber hose, extra cartoony style. If you do something like Thundercats, where Thundercats is really heroic, it's mythical, it's like King Arthur, the bean mouth doesn't work with that because that's all about heroism. That's about feeling power, strength, the young boy becoming a man and saving the day, right? So on the one hand, I actually think that the bean mouth, extra cartoony look sort of works for a movie like Turning Red, because Turning Red is basically a kid's movie. It's cute. It's about adorable, silly teenagers. So maybe a silly art style fits with it. I'm also kind of biased where I like 2D looks. I feel like a lot of CGI movies, they feel a little sterile. They feel a little bit too much like we're just using CGI to imitate the 3D world as much as possible. So I even like it when guys like Jendy Tartakovsky in the Hotel Transylvania movies or the Peanuts movie or the Captain Underpants movie deliberately try to imitate 2D art styles in 3D. That being said, on the other side, I don't know if maybe it's just a problem where 2D styles don't work that well or translate that well into 3D. So if you see a little drawing of Mickey Mouse and he's got his big grin on, you read that as a little cartoon character. Maybe if you try really hard, you can translate that 2D look into 3D. But I feel like maybe the fact that it's a 3D movie is fighting with the 2D-ishness of how the characters emote and move. So I didn't end up, so I'm just speaking for myself personally here. I ended up being annoyed by, or kind of like jarred by the fact of how 2D-ish the characters felt in contrast to the 3D world. I don't know, maybe that's a take it or leave it or a personal thing. I just feel like, okay, maybe Incredibles is a good example. In Incredibles, they're also cartoony-ish people, but there's a little bit more variety. So, Mr. Incredible, he's the big, strong Homer Simpson guy, so he's very squarish, has a small skull to show that he's kind of a dumber dad, right? And then, right, but in Turning Red, everyone's kind of round and soft and cute. I'd have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more variety in their facial styles and how they were designed. So let's throw aside the visual side of things for now. Story-wise, she turns into a big red panda. The big red panda, it's a metaphor, guys. It's a metaphor for having your first period. And it's a metaphor for your emotions on the inside. And maybe it's also a metaphor for Chinese heritage, right? So this is a thing I noticed in this. Every good kids movie has something element like this. There's like a fantastical, magical element, and the fantastical, magical element is contrasted with a human, down-to-earth element. Finding Nemo is about fish. The magical part of the element is that the fish are alive, and then the human element is it's about Marlin and Nemo, and Marlin's tragedy makes it hard for him to let go of his son. So actually, Finding Nemo, the moral of the story of Finding Nemo is very similar to the moral of the story of Turning Red, just with a father-son pair instead of a mother-daughter pair. Brave was also a movie about a teenage girl who has a difficult relationship with her mother. She makes a wish and turns her mother into a bear, and they spend the rest of the movie trying to undo the curse of Merida turning her mother into a bear. I think Brave did this general story better than Turning Red did. Mulan is also kind of a movie about, a girl character who wants to find out who she really is and wants to honor her parents, but also wants to be herself, going on an adventure and learning to find that balance between her heritage and her culture and her family and herself. So I would give Turning Red a 6 out of 10. It's trying to send a good message about trying to be at peace with yourself and be understanding of your mother and your culture, your cultural background. I basically just don't feel like you could almost take the panda thing out of the movie and you wouldn't change the movie that much. Most of the movie is actually about a teenage girl who wants to go to a boy band concert, and the panda, the magical element, to me, never feels like it's a very important part of the movie. Take My Neighbor Totoro. So My Neighbor Totoro also has little girls interacting with a big, cute, fluffy guy. So in My Neighbor Totoro, the magical element is they go into the forest and they meet this magical Totoro dude, right? He's big and friendly and fuzzy and he makes plants grow. And the girls are trying to wrestle with their mother being sick in the hospital, maybe from cancer. I don't think they ever say what the disease is in My Neighbor Totoro, but they've got a human problem. Our mom is sick. They have this magical journey into the spirit world where they meet Totoro, and he's their big friendly friend. And both of those plots weave together beautifully. If you take either element of those plots out of My Neighbor Totoro, it stops being a really memorable movie. In Turning Red, she turns into a big red panda. She's fighting with her mom and wants to go with the concert. Basically, from the whole second act of the movie really drags. What I thought the movie was going to be is she turns into a big red panda. Oh no, if people find out she turns into a big red panda, they'll lock her in jail or something, so they've got to keep the panda the secret. And then she turns into a panda at school and all the kids think she's adorable. So the question for the whole rest of the movie is, well, then why is it a big deal if she turns into a big red panda? And they kind of have an explanation for this, but it sort of spoils the if everybody thinks it's just normal and cute that you turn into a big red panda, that kind of takes away from the magic part of the fantasy side of the movie. And then the whole rest of the movie basically just feels like one big 90s 30-minute sitcom misunderstanding that's stretched out. So plot-wise, I was tapping my foot, waiting. Okay, they got to get money to go to the boy band concert. Let's get to it. Let's get to the panda stuff. So my rough take is it feels like Disney Pixar as a corporate entity trying to repeat the formula from its past movies, and several of its past movies I think have done a much better job of telling this exact same type of story. The other element is, one of the reasons why I think this became such a big, hot topic on Twitter is the racial identity politics in art thing. And the thing is, I don't care. How do I want to put this? I think it's good if you have characters that have specificity. So if you say we're going to have a protagonist who's Chinese and she has a Chinese cultural heritage, I think that's cool. That's giving your character some specifics. It's giving her some cultural reference points. It's giving her some things that she can grapple with in her own life. What's kind of weird about this movie is the woke side is saying you're a bigot if you don't want to watch this movie, but a lot of the things in this movie actually feel like giant stereotypes. So it's not just that her family is Chinese, they run an ancient Chinese family temple for ancestor worship, right? So it's not enough for them to make the family Chinese, they have to make them, I say they're stereotypes in that they make the family as Chinese as possible to kind of like heighten the contrast between the Chinese world she's come from and the Western Canadian world. And when they portray the Western Canadian world, they make it as millennial and kind of cloyingly cute, like totes my goats girls do math, super duper friendly, wacky world as possible. So that did end up getting on my nerves. It felt to me like this is what adults think teenagers act like. Teenagers must be like as cutesy and use slang as much as possible 100% of the time. And I don't mind if teenagers do some cutesy bootsy stuff and do some silly things, because that's something teenagers do. It just felt like every moment they were on screen, they had to have them doing some cutesy bootsy stuff. So, I'd skip it. It's not like evil SJW propaganda trying to turn the frogs gay or anything. I just don't find there's much in the movie to be mad at or super excited and moved by in general. So I'll probably get into that in my in-depth scene-by-scene review. Was there anything else I wanted to say in my off-the-cuff random stream of consciousness stuff? I think I got it. I think I got what I wanted to say. So, sorry if you think I'm a big... Oh yeah. Okay, gay stuff. So, there's like literally no gay stuff in the movie. There's a little rainbow heart in the end credits. So if you were hoping for gay representation, that's what you get, kids. You get a rainbow heart in the end credits that had absolutely nothing to do with the rest of the movie. That's just... there's the point. The point I wanted to say is that when Disney is trying to be woke, it feels fake. So I've noticed that nobody left or right likes woke Disney. The right don't like woke Disney because they're trying to turn their kids gay, for global homo. And the left doesn't like Disney because it feels fake and empty. They want to signal that they're for the gays, but it never shows up as a prominent plot in any of their movies. They always advertise, oh wow, it's our first gay character. Wow, for the 30th time, we're introducing our first gay character. But then it's just completely incidental or forgettable. So basically, yeah, don't give Disney any money. I don't care if you're right or left. Can we agree that, what is it, that Arnold Schwarzenegger meme where they're holding hands? Can we agree that we just shouldn't give Disney any money, either because they're too gay or they're not gay enough? Whatever it is, we should still boycott Disney and not give them any money. We should boycott Netflix. I don't care if you want to boycott Netflix because they're woke and they made cuties, or if you want to boycott Netflix because they have Dave Chappelle and you think that's triggering. Left and right, let's just come together and sing Kumbaya and agree, let's boycott these massive corporations. All right, I'm number one Marvel fan. I think I'm going to call it here. This will be my stream of consciousness review. And next, I will do the careful scene-by-scene Jordan Peterson analysis of this movie. Love you guys. Catch you later.